Gaslighting. Gaslighter.
You're a gaslighter.
Denier.
I mean, is gaslighting real? Yes.
Okay, I thought you were going to gaslight us into thinking gaslighting was
Yeah, gaslighting wasn't a thing, and I was going to be really fucked up. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Simone.
That's how we start?
Damn.
And I'm Isabella.
And this
I'm Jeremy.
is my brother Jeremy. This is our first guest to the podcast. Yay! My brother Jeremy is here because of his title. Do you want to say your full title for the people?
What title? Brother?
Brother to Simone.
Brother to Simone.
Period.
Best friend to Isabella.
Best friend to Isabella now, as we finally met.
Period.
Period. What's my other title?
You're a therapist.
Oh, yeah. I think I see myself as a human first
Wow.
that happens to be a therapist.
Wow.
I don't categorize myself as a therapist, but I'm just
Sure.
a person that fell into the therapy game.
Oh,
Period.
I love that. That's how Simone defines herself. She defines herself as human first and then as
Period.
perfect second.
Period. And pretty third. Pretty perfect human.
Pretty perfect human.
And that's it.
Today we're going to talk about therapy with Simone's brother, who's a human first.
And a therapist second.
Therapist second.
Okay, so for those not watching visually,
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy is gorgeous, which I don't know why I didn't expect that because Simone is gorgeous.
You never showed her a picture of me?
I don't think so. I don't really show like pictures of the family or like that.
Jeremy, your voice is enchanting.
I hear you drop into your lower register.
Oh, did you hear?
Yeah.
It's like a song. Jeremy, can you sing? Do you ever sing? I could see you
No,
singing.
I think just
Really?
That's our father.
the voice inflection always depends on
Who are you talking to?
who you're talking to, what you're talking about.
So you can't sing.
Nah.
I can. Kidding.
I did a talent show in the fourth grade.
You did a talent show?
Fourth grade.
What did
Yeah.
you do? What did you perform, Jeremy?
We sang Soul for Real, Candy Rain, I think it's called. Like, my love. You know, it was then we had a little two-step and everything like that, but it was, you know.
Well, it's so funny that you say that because we actually have a clip of it right here. Just kidding.
That would be, and Isabella would be the type of person that would dig that up.
I know, I wish. Okay, I'm pivoting us, brother.
Pivot.
Period.
Where are we pivoting to?
We're pivoting to dating. What would you consider to be a red flag as a therapist? So we'll name a topic. Simone and I will say whether or not we think it's a red flag. And then you,
Period.
Jeremy, will tell us whether you think it's a red flag and why. Okay, so our first one is that they badmouth all of their exes. I say that's a red flag. Simone?
I say that's a huge red flag. Because why do you hate every woman? That's that.
Wait, you talking about only male to women?
I'm going to say both. You know what? Both.
I
Either
want to
way.
be inclusive here. I think that it's very alarming and it's probably going to cause someone to look at it a little deeper and probably walk away. Red flag.
Okay. Red flag, period.
Okay, red flag. He
Okay.
said he's waving the red flag.
Okay. Having cheated in the past.
Depending on how long it was ago, like if it was like 6 years ago, 10-6.
6 years ago?
If it was 6 years ago, then I can overlook it. If it was in the past year, I am saying it's a red flag.
I would have to agree. If you were like 15 when you cheated on your high school girlfriend, like
Right.
whatever. But like you cheated on your last girlfriend as a full-blown
Yes.
adult in a
Yes.
5-year relationship and
Yes.
torpedoed your relationship,
Yeah.
red
Right.
flag.
I think the context matters the most.
Emotional cheating, physical cheating.
I think cheating is cheating, and I think that's the part of like not categorizing. I mean, you're texting somebody outside your relationship. That's cheating.
Hold on. I'm sorry. You don't think one is worse than the other?
No.
Wow.
Isabella, do you think that one is worse than the other? Physical?
I think
or-
I have trouble understanding what emotional cheating truly is.
Like
Right.
you're in love with someone. You have never physically touched them. Like imagine like your boyfriend coming home and being like, I am in love with my coworker. We have never touched outside of nothing. we
Oh
just
my
go to work, we
God.
talk.
Okay, then I guess the way that you're describing it would make emotional cheating worse.
Yeah, that's how it is in my head.
How I treat it is
Yeah.
I put it all together. If you're doing anything outside
Right.
the
Of the
relationship,
bounds
the
that we
marriage,
define.
and
Right.
that person will feel some kind of way about it,
Right.
that's
That
problematic.
crosses a boundary that would be inappropriate.
Because it's like, I don't want to give people passes because we're trying to redefine morals, values, and the
Right.
code of ethics.
And
you wanna
every
live your life
relationship,
by.
I think, would have different boundaries.
Yes. And I live in Colorado where poly is
Normal.
Yeah. But I think cheating, it's always about the context.
Okay, what if they are somebody that is jealous, but not like jealous that you're talking to other people, jealous of you, jealous of your success, jealous of maybe you having more friends, like somebody that's a little bit jealous. I'm going to say that's the biggest red flag, Simone.
Okay, I'm actually going to say context matters.
Okay.
Because I don't actually think that that's actually all that bad.
Okay. And brother.
Brother says. I think it'd never work in a relationship.
What if they're only jealous temporarily? What if they've never had relationships, healthy relationships, the way that you do them modeled for them, so they're jealous that they're not capable of that? They can be. You can model healthy relationships, and then they can go out and make their own.
I agree. Still think it's a red flag. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a red flag, and I think that there's a difference between jealousy and envy. Envy can be like, oh my God, you have this great thing. I love that you have that great thing. I can't wait until I have that too. I think that's healthy. I think that's normal. I think that's human, of course. Jealousy I view as like, I don't have this, and I'm pissed that you have it. I don't want you to have that.
Oh.
I'm jealous that you have that. I wish you didn't have that. Like, it's negative.
Okay.
You say period.
Yeah, period. Okay, what about a partner who is possessive?
Like possessive, like, where you at? What time you get home? Where are you going?
Or just like in the manosphere way of like, you are my woman. Everything that you do is like, that's my property and blah, blah, blah. Like very like, this is my man's, this is my woman.
I mean, I think it's only a red flag if we lose sense of self.
Who loses sense of self? The person that's possessive or the
Both.
person? Okay.
The thing with red flags is these things are usually identified early on.
Right.
But we tell ourselves, oh, we can.
I can't see,
I can
I'm
look
blind.
past that. We lie to ourselves,
I can
and that's why I say red flags are like, you knew this 2 years ago.
Right. Well,
It's true.
that's why it's a flag and not like a flag's pretty flimsy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna, a flag isn't stopping anyone, but it's there and you can see it, and you're
But
like,
that's why I say it should be a phone at a head. It should be
Right.
a brick. It should be a
Right.
a
Oh,
car. It should
interesting.
be something.
Something.
Yeah.
that,
A wall, a brick
if
wall.
you experience this within the first month,
Right.
6 months, walk away.
yeah. I think possessiveness is really, really interesting of a one because I think it can be romanticized a lot too.
Yes, it can. It in movies.
Of like,
Yes.
you are my girl, like you
Yes.
are my everything, etc.
Yes. I used to think that I wanted that from movies, from TV.
Tyler
like,
Perry?
don't Tyler Perry me.
I'm sorry.
What I will say is that, yeah, it's like, it's romanticized of like, yeah, my man, he's so jealous and he's so strong and he don't play. My
It
man
means
don't
they
play.
care. It means they care.
Like, it means
Yeah,
they
yeah.
care. They love me even more.
Yeah, they love me because they don't want me to be with anyone else. So that can be really toxic and bad and like can lead down a road of not great things. Okay.
No.
Very on and off, like hot and cold affection or communication. I think that's a huge red flag.
I think it's a huge red flag too. And it's very indicative of the type of relationship they're trying to have.
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, I think it's workable.
Really?
I disagree because I think that it's like in like think like situationships. They're inherently off and on connections. And like I was watching this girl, I don't know if she was a therapist, but I saw her on TikTok. And
Every TikToker is a therapist.
Every single one. And she was saying like the reason why situationships feel like they're even more of a heartbreak is because of the sporadic dopamine releases, of the inconsistency of being like that person reaching out to you, that person, you know, like there's no consistency.
Right.
Your brain is like, it's more appealing to have something that isn't like a constant reward system as opposed to something that's like sporadic. So therefore it feels like you were so much more in
Like
love.
sugar. Sugar is like an immediate, like heightened insulin, like immediate sugar rush, and then it comes down versus like protein that's like consistent energy
and
level.
keeps you satiated.
And also you could be with someone who, when it's very hot and cold, when someone's communicating with you all the time, you're like, oh my God, they love me. And then when they are cold, you're like, I did something wrong. Like, oh my God, what
I did
do?
something wrong.
Yes. And then you're constantly like, what did I do right? Like analyzing your behavior. If you're doing things differently, that's causing this on and off cycle. Do you think it is a red flag if you really don't like your partner's friends? Like you don't think that they're good people, or if you think that they're gossipy, if you think
they're just pieces of
Yeah, because
I
personally
think that's a red flag.
think that's a red flag.
Really big red flag.
And that-
Birds of a feather flock together.
Yes, and also like even if my partner is not a bad person, but I really don't like their friend group, it's such a turnoff to me that that person would choose to spend their time with these people
With
that
people
I
like
don't
that.
with people like that, and B, that they wouldn't stand up to them and be like, what you're doing is not right.
That's true. Character.
No, I don't think it's a red flag in a relationship, because if it's in a relationship, that means that's the character of the person.
So then you're saying that like on a
person's a red
subconscious
flag.
level,
person's
you're
a red
okay with it. So let's say it's the girl in the me trying to make it fair.
Thank you.
Let's say it's the girl in the relationship and the boy doesn't like her friends and feels like her friends are not very great people. You're saying that because of her friends are a reflection of her, then she's the red flag.
Yes.
Okay, so then yes,
So
we
we're all
all
saying the
agree.
same thing.
Yes,
Okay,
we're all on the
Oh,
same thing.
we agree?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're all on the same. Yes.
Oh, okay.
We agree. Okay. Period.
Okay, so in saying that you were human first, therapist second, I'm curious, how did you fall into becoming a therapist second? How did therapy find you?
How did therapy
dare
find
I
you?
say, Jeremy?
I mean, I think therapy did find me. I was living in South Florida, Palm Beach County, and knew I wanted to kind of change the course of certain things in my life. I was working at a PF Chang's for like 10 years. Knew that I didn't want to cook for the rest of my life, and I wanted to go back to school for something. And I was like Googling, and social work popped up, and then like I never wanted to be like a therapist ever.
Oh, wow.
It just kind of happened.
Kind of just fell into it. And every time I tell that story, people are like, that's it? I'm like, yeah. Because people
Right.
have this like, I want to save the world. I want to
Sure,
help
sure,
people.
sure.
My heart just called it to me. I didn't have that experience of
Right.
like, something came down from the heavens and told me you're supposed to be a therapist.
Do you feel like your life would be different at all, or you would be different at all, had you been in therapy prior in your life?
Yes and no. I don't think that my early 20s, I would have probably been receptive based
Right,
on
right,
situations.
Yeah.
So like when you're in it, in the midst of life, it's sometimes hard to like, to see the trees from the forest per se.
To see the trees from the forest. I don't think I've ever heard that expression before.
I just made it up.
Period.
And
okay,
he's
great.
brilliant. He's a poet.
I was like, trees from the forest. I love that.
But like 20s, and when you're kind of going through things, just trying to like survive, the last thing to think about is therapy.
But I think that that's, again, generational difference that we're talking about. I would say for our generation, Isabella, is very different. It's like
Right.
therapy first because I don't know who the hell I am. And then like out of therapy, you try to kind of like construct the life and like passions and all
That's
of that.
true.
Do you see a therapist now, Jeremy?
I do. So I've had a very great journey of therapy where my first therapist was a white female, and then I think the stigma of like I can't have a therapist that doesn't look like me, and then what happened was I felt like I was explaining certain things to her. Like I would say a word, she's like, "What does that mean?" I'm like,
I don't want to have to explain that.
and then I had a black male therapist where I would say a word and he got what I was trying to say. And I think I did the best work with him based on that time of my life. And now I have a therapist in Denver, Colorado that I see bi-weekly, sometimes once a month.
And on the same note, Jeremy, would you say that the majority of your clientele looks like you?
In the beginning, yes. But I think the longer like I've been out in Colorado kind of practicing, it's starting to change. The
Interesting.
fun thing is I have a lot of female clients, which is pretty cool.
What color?
Black and white. Some Latina, Hispanic clients, they say that a lot of things they're going through, they feel like a person of color can understand from an empathy standpoint.
That makes sense. I mean, that does make sense.
I guess the one thing where I reached out to my kind of mentor that's also a therapist, and he says like, how do you kind of start to model healthy relationships? Because where in their life, if it's a young lady that doesn't have a father figure, doesn't have brothers, doesn't have many male figures, where else would she get like how to build a healthy relationship with a man?
That's really
Okay.
interesting.
Where I don't want anything from her.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take anything from
Yeah.
her, but I'm also holding her accountable and showing her how to
Wow.
actually build relation through therapy.
That's kind of triggering that you would say that. It's only triggering because I'm like, should I have a black male therapist? But I'm not going to do it. But it does make me think twice when you say it like that. I'm like, Do you think that women are inherently more emotionally intelligent, or do you think that men would be on the same level if they were socialized the way that women were from childbirth?
I mean, I think it's part of it. I think that, if you're growing up in a household where if you're a single mom, certain emotions you want to express because you want to kind of be the man of the house. But I do think that there is societal norms that contribute to if you have more emotional intelligence. But like, for me, it's not saying like, hey, because you're a man and you don't have much empathy, that's okay. Or because you're a man, you're supposed to have less, you know, ability to like regulate relationships and things like that. Like, nah. I think that the expectation for me is that no matter if you're a man, woman, wherever you come from, you build up your emotional intelligence and being able to like manage relationships. So like when I work with a lot of black male clients, the majority of my caseload is black males now. But when I work with them, most thing we do is we name what's happening. We name.
Oh, wow. And like name emotions like you would with a child.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows happy, angry, sad.
Yeah.
What about confused? What about enthusiastic?
And he's always talking about how like, do I look like a therapist? And I'm like,
Right.
no.
I don't look like a therapist.
We had this discussion earlier.
And then it's like, what does a therapist look like? A therapist should
And what does a
look like one
therapist look
thing.
like?
Right.
Yep.
What does a therapist look like from you guys' opinions or perspective?
Oh yeah, comment down below. Come on, influencer. Comment down below. Let us know what you think a therapist looks like. But I mean, like, I don't know. Well, my therapist looks like my mom, but
Right.
archetypally
Right.
looks like my mom. Because that's like, I feel comfort. I feel like I'm able to express. I tried to go to a white woman. I said, no. And then I left her. Because I couldn't.
See, my thing is I have to have somebody who's young. I'm like more comfortable being like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah," and then this little kooky thing, and then la 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 la. To an older woman, I'm like, can I say that to you? And like,
I
there's
know.
a respect
Yeah,
level
that's true.
where I'm like, am
That
I
is
allowed
true
to talk
because I
about
never
penises?
cursed in front of.
I
Yes,
don't
I never cursed in
know.
front of my therapist. Never. It was so rare. I remember I
Yeah.
said shit once, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Whereas I have like a young girl now, and I sing in the sessions. I go, ooh.
How does she present
goes,
herself
"You're
in
crazy."
session? Does she dress up? Is she buttoned up in like ABC 1, 2, 3, or she's like by the book?
No, I don't even know what she wears, but I mean, it's not important to me.
Oh, because
Okay.
it's call. Y'all aren't.
It's
video.
on Zoom,
just
yeah.
call.
Everything's
Okay,
online.
okay. And I think that's the part about therapy where people expect like, because I mean, obviously my pictures online, I think I got a collared shirt on.
You do. Me knowing for a fact, I'm like, you do.
And then like when people come to session, they expect me to be some, you know,
Right.
buttoned up professional
Right,
with a
right,
nice
right.
tie on and everything like that. Nah.
Yeah, we talk a lot about your shoes too.
I wear Air Max to session.
I know he likes to because he's trying to. It's
Trying to
such
be
a niche
relatable.
thing.
Yeah.
It's such a niche thing, especially when you like black men. Shoes mean a lot.
Sure.
So knowing that as a black man, it's such proof of like how niche of like understandings you have with someone that looks like you.
But it's the authenticity. I mean, I had a corporate job for a long time and like, yeah, I dressed up. But the authenticity of who I am is like, I'm not a guy that's going to come in some loafers
I like a loafer.
or some
Well,
Perry's.
also, I
tried
think
to-
that's important because
Yeah?
that's what makes. That's
Can
what
you
makes,
hold on 1 second, Isabella? Can you please say the what you just said again one more time for the people?
Some Perry's.
Sperry's.
Sperry's. That's how you say them. See? I don't even know what they call.
Paris.
Very.
I think that's important. I think, and I talk about this with Simone all the time about how I feel like professionalism is a very like whitewashed patriarchal system of like, this is what
is.
professionalism is. It's all made up. And I think especially as a therapist to be, again, a human first, as you said, to be relatable and be like, I'm just like you. You should feel comfortable talking to me. You're not in the principal's office. Is
That's
important.
true. Now, let's talk. Okay, I know that this is going to piss you off because, like I said before, he has a thing about TikTok and over Googling, as most professionals do.
My therapist has told me time and time again to stop using
stop Googling.
Google. She says, please stop. I say, hey, I have napped for 48 hours straight. I Googled it and I have eczema. And she's like, oh, please stop.
That's not. Stop Googling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, our first term, narcissist.
Overused.
Can you please define what a narcissist is?
I mean, it's a person that doesn't have empathy.
How?
That has this inflated sense of self. People we say are narcissists aren't usually narcissists.
What are they usually?
I don't know, assholes.
There we go. Okay, just people that are very self-absorbed, people that like are not afraid to use others or like put you down in order to pick themselves up.
That's usually somebody that's one traumatized, and usually you talk about like the attachment style, and that grew up in a household or an environment that wasn't supportive. If I'm in survival mode, what do you think I'm going to do? Care about you?
Right.
It's
Wow.
survival mode, not a narcissist. A narcissist is an actual disorder that's treated with sometimes medication along with psychotherapy. Somebody that's in survival mode, they just want to make sure through this engagement, I win.
No matter what, even if they're in love.
But I have to win because I'm used to losing.
Have you heard of the idea of being in survival mode, Isabella?
No.
I think that it's a term that is very, very commonly used in the Black community. I can only speak for the Black community. Comment down below and let me know if you're a minority. But yeah, a lot of Black people are in survival mode because you got to think like we're like, what, 2-3 generations removed from slavery? Like nothing crazy. Speaking from my lineage, because we have different mothers. So my grandmother was a sharecropper, and a sharecropper is just like one itty bitty baby step down from being a slave. So like my great grandparents were, if not actively enslaved, somewhere in the slavery. So when you think of the atrocities that happened to my great grandparents, what do you think my grandmother was like? How do you think she was raising my mother? And then next, what do you think my mother raised us like? Like it's finally wearing down, but a lot of Black people walk around in survival mode, maybe forever, but only become aware of it until they're like 50, 60.
And also the conversation of generational trauma also goes into your like mental psyche. Like, is that something that you've explored?
Studies like epigenetics where like trauma is carried through. Even like if somebody's pregnant and that person that's pregnant experiences trauma, that trauma through DNA is also passed down.
That is insane to
so
think
it's studies about epigenetics, but I don't go deep into that. I mean, survival mode is just based on life circumstances.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, next term. You want to go, Isabella?
Sure. Gaslighting. Gaslighter.
You're a gaslighter.
I mean, is gaslighting real? Yes.
Okay, I thought you were going to gaslight us into thinking gaslighting was real.
Gaslighting wasn't a thing, and I was going to be really fucked up.
It's real. And do I think that someone, majority of times in relationships that I see, do I think that a person is intentionally saying, I'm going to come home and gaslight my partner?
Sorry. I'm thinking of specific times where I've been like, I'm going to gaslight that. I don't know. Not my partner, usually. Not that, but sometimes, like, in the previous episode, we were talking about, like, farting in public. If I farted in public and someone heard me, I would gaslight the shit out of everybody.
But I guess my question to you, Jeremy, is do you think that it's harmful in any way that gaslighting has become such a commonly thrown around word, even if it's being used correctly in the sense of Simone gaslighting those around her into that she did not fart? Is that harmful to use that term in that way?
I think the harm is behind a lot of gaslighting is some truth. So you can't gaslight me.
Why?
Because I did the work on myself.
But I would argue that if you are in a situation with somebody.
Yeah, if Simone said, I didn't fart, you are going to say, yes, you did fart.
I'm like, okay.
And then let it go. And then just put it down, write it down in the book that I'm a liar. That's what I do a lot. You're like, okay, period. You didn't fart, but I know you're a liar.
Because it's the emotional attachment I have to what we say are lies or deception. My emotional attachment isn't to this external world. My emotional attachment is to self. And I'm okay with self. So like, you can't gaslight me because I know certain things that I struggle with.
But you're also a 35-year-old man that is so sure in himself.
And also imagine if I'm in a relationship.
If you're a little baby girl.
I'm a little baby girl. And I'm in a relationship and this man keeps really talking to this girl. Like talking to her, texting her, whatever. And he's like, I am not. You are crazy. And I'm like, what? I don't think I'm crazy.
They f with your reality.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Your sense of reality.
And then I'm like, wait, maybe I am crazy because you're telling me that that's not true.
And if you come into my office, we call her baby girl.
She's a little baby girl.
I'm a baby girl.
So if you came into my office, what do you think I'm going to do first? Talk about the gaslighting or say, why the hell you with this guy?
Whoa.
What's going on with you?
I see.
And the reason why you're still engaged in this relationship. I don't care about the gaslighting part. I don't care about him. Because he's not in front of me right now.
Wow.
You're the person that's actually probably got some shit you're struggling with.
Yeah, that's interesting because I also feel like with calling people, gaslighters and narcissists, it's a lot of focus on them and what their issues are. And you're saying like, duh, they have issues, walk away, and it's not your job to, figure out what their issues are. Leave, go deal with you.
And I'll say, the walk away is probably usually the tough part, but like we'll start exploring like, well, why are you engaged in this relationship?
Right.
Yeah. And historically, is this common for you to be engaged in toxic, unhealthy relationships?
Right.
That's really upsetting that you would say that.
I use the word toxic too. Unhealthy.
Oh, okay. Do you feel like toxic is overused?
I don't think it's overused, but I want to shake you up to where you start to like, holy shit. I use words as you're being held emotionally hostage in your relationship.
Oh, to like
Wow.
I
wake
want
them
you to,
up.
I want you
To
to feel
wake
it.
you up. Whoa.
That stings. So when you go home and that person gaslights you, you say, why am I sleeping in the same bed as a person that doesn't love me truly for who I am?
Or cares so little about me that they are okay with harming my well-being.
Or cares
And
about
hooking
me
up
a
with my
lot
sense
and
of
loves me
reality.
a lot, but isn't at a place where they know how to healthily show it.
Yes.
But instead, okay, it reminds me so much of we read this story. It was a Reddit story.
Yeah.
A girl and a boy were dating. And the girl was like, he was constantly telling her, like, you stink so bad. So she was like taking like 2-3 showers a day, like wearing deodorant, this, that, waited for him to bring it up one morning. And she was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he eventually admitted that his father told him to do it because the father did it to his mother. He was like, if she's insecure about the way that she smells, she'll never leave you and she won't cheat on you because she thinks she stinks. Isn't that fucked up? I will never be able to get over that
Every
a day
time
in
I
life.
thought about it, it made me even sadder because it was like
so
his
fucked up.
father taught him that. So like from such a young age, he was under the
Yes.
impression that that is what you were supposed to do. It made me sad that he did that to her, but she knows her self-worth and she got the hell out of there. Great, there's hope for her.
Yeah.
But it broke my heart that he thought that that was what normal was
he needed
supposed to
to
be,
do.
and that that's what you do when you love someone.
Who's the victim in that?
Exactly.
Why would you say that? You brought too much nuance. We were shitting on the boyfriend and we were happy to do that.
No, but I was
Why
with
would
you.
you
I was
bring
with you,
nuance?
Jeremy. I was with you. I was with you on that. They're both victims. She's a victim of him and he's a victim of his father.
And that mama's a damn victim.
There you go. Mm-hmm. It depends on who's like the client. It depends on which kind of work we do with them.
All right. So Jeremy, therapist.
Therapist.
You're dating right now. You're on the dating
You're
game,
dating.
mayhaps. As a therapist who is dating, is it difficult for you to not try to therapize the people that you are in relationships with?
It's a good question.
Simone came up with it.
That's why I'm sitting here and I'm like, answer the question. I want to know because I feel like I would.
I mean,
Yeah.
what did the comment section have to say about it?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Anytime Jeremy doesn't want to answer a question, he goes, toss it into the comments section. What do you guys think? Let us know.
Answer the question, big boy.
I think as a new therapist, it's like you get this new shiny toy.
Right.
Okay.
And you want to use it. But I think the further you get into the game and start realizing what therapy is, because therapy is just a relationship. Do I ask questions in a way that are
Right, I
different
see.
than
Yeah.
10 years ago? But like when I leave my office,
You're
I
off.
leave that
That's good.
That part
therapy
of you.
hat at work. But I'm more aware, like, if this person I'm dating says something over and over again, I'm good. Because they're showing me who they are. And it's up to me to believe that they're showing me the truth.
That's not necessarily therapist you. That could just be like a human being you that like has learned and grown over the years.
I like
Yeah.
that.
So you feel like it's important to have that boundary between your work
Oh, yeah,
life and your
yeah.
dating life.
I'm
So-
not therapizing people outside of work.
So people shouldn't be afraid to date a therapist.
Probably should.
Oh, okay. Also, if anybody wants to date my brother, hit him up.
At
Do you wanna plug this?
234-1799
1866.
6622.
1866
And
therapist.
if you're looking
Thank
for a
you.
therapist,
Oh yeah. Can you accept new clients if someone wants to see you as a therapist?
I'm something new client.
he's accepting new clients. It is only $7,000 per appointment.
An hour.
An hour.
I'll put all of his information in the description box of the YouTube and then in the show notes of the pod. Yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed this little talk about therapy. Hopefully it won't be the
Yeah.
last one. And let us know if you liked us having a guest and comment down below what other guests you'd like to see on the pod.
Thank you for being our first guest.
First guest ever?
First
First
guest
guest ever.
on the podcast.
I feel special.
You are special.
Now we have to do a reoccurring segment called Scream of the Week. Scream of the Week! Ah!
Period.
So you're going to talk about anything that happened this past week that made you scream. Scream from
Scream.
joy, scream from fear, scream from anger, scream in general. Just any highlight scream of the week.
Do you want to go first, Isabella? You want me to go first?
Whatever you want.
I'll go first. My scream of the week is that I lost 2 hubcaps on my car.
Oh
Fucking
my
humiliating
God.
to think about. That is so because the way that I think about it, I'm like driving, like being like cute. Because I went to Pilates, I went grocery shopping, like I was all over town, and I'm like just driving, like music up to 1,000, like riding with my twin and them, like driving on these streets, and then I hit a pothole and one of my hubcaps goes flying. Imagine being the person behind me looking at me, being like, "You stupid bitch." You know how upsetting that is to think
Yeah.
about, how humiliating that is?
Yeah.
Pretty humiliating.
And then now it looks like my car is my drug dealer boyfriend's car.
Trap.
It looked a trap car. I ordered new hubcaps, guys. Don't you worry. They're just taking a minute to get here. But that's my scream of the week. I was humiliated.
Okay. That's so funny. My scream is of a similar scream. I have never gotten a parking ticket in Los Angeles.
Damn.
Which everyone famously gets all the time. In Los Angeles, mind you. I've gotten them before. Famously, one time I went to a bakery and I got out of the car at the parking meter and I just forgot to pay the meter. Went into the bakery, had a lovely chat, was like, it's my dad's birthday. The baker was like, let me give you these croissants for free. And I was like, enchanté. And I'll also take a cannoli. Flirting the day away. And he was like, bye, I love you. And I was like, bye, I love you. And I got to my car and it was like a $30 ticket. And I was like, ooh. And I like had the quarter in my hand. Like I had gotten out of the car, quarter in hand, like ready to pay the meter, and then probably saw like a butterfly fly by and was like,
and then just was like, bye.
And just forgot. But yesterday, I didn't even know this was a thing. So I'm letting you guys know this is a PSA to anybody that drives. I am warning you because nobody tells us about anything, including taxes.
Don't say that word on this podcast.
Well, it's going to get bleeped. Okay, so I was parking on a hill, and apparently this is real in any city that has a lot of hills. What do you do when you park on a hill?
Put your
I don't put my emergency brake on.
Put your emergency brake on. Okay, Simone.
That's the only thing I would think if I'm parking on a hill.
That's what I thought. Put your emergency brake on. You have to also turn your wheels. Is it towards the curb or away from the curb? Away from the curb. In case it slides so that your car goes into the curb versus out. I didn't know this ever. I've never heard of this in my life. So I was stopped at a friend's house, was parked on it, was like, la, la, la. And she was like, oh, let me turn your wheel for you. And I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, you have to do that or they'll ticket you. So she turned the wheel towards the curb, where I guess you're supposed to be away from the curb. And I got a ticket for turning my wheels the wrong way.
That is so
Isn't that
petty.
Wild.
That is the pettiest shit I've ever heard of in my life.
And another friend also got a ticket, but because he didn't turn his wheels at all. But mine was like, you turned them the wrong way.
The wrong way. You see, I tried.
Yeah, exactly. And literally it was like, you turned your wheels the wrong way and it says the way you're supposed to turn them on a street sign. I was like, this was kind of passive aggressive. Policia.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Whatever. So this is me warning all my girlies out there.
Turn the wheel.
To
the opposite, to the street side, right?
Yes. Turn it away from the curb. Yeah.
Editor's note, it depends on which way you're facing. If you're parked uphill, turn your wheels away from the curb. If you're parked downhill, turn your wheels towards the curb.
But I paid it. I paid it last night, you guys.
How much was it?
$23, but it was $26 because you have to pay $3.
Oh, and a convenience fee
for if you do it through phone call or through online. And if you don't, you have to send in a check. But if you send the check incorrectly, they send it back and you have to pay more.
And then you return.
So I'm like, what the fuck? Everything's a trick.
What's your scream?
I feel like my scream is like, you guys got these extravagant stories?
Yes, because we're dramatic and we turn everything into a story. That's our job. That's our job. We turn everything into a story.
I don't know. I think the scream of the week was I went home to Cleveland this past weekend, and my brother had and his girlfriend had a baby boy.
A baby boy.
Probably my scream of the week. And then now everyone's saying, when is it your turn? And
that's sick. I hate when they say that.
They don't say that to you?
No. I'm young. They don't want me to ever get married. I'm the baby girl. They're like, are you settling down? Ew. They don't like that.
They don't ask Simone if she's had a child. They're like, Simone, have you even gotten your period yet? They're like, wait.
That's what they're more concerned about.
They're like, have you gone through puberty?
Wow.
You're just a baby.
That's enough now.
No, because I took it as one way, and you were saying it because I'm just a little baby girl.
Yeah.
Like I haven't even hit puberty.
Yeah.
I was saying it. I was joking in a completely other different way, and he doesn't like that.
You were saying something sick. Oh no, I was saying she's a baby girl. What were you saying, Simone?
Slut.
Oh.
He doesn't like that.
Oh, that's not what I was saying. I would never say that, Jeremy.
Once that Pandora box is open.
No.
I know.
We'll shut it. That's a wonderful scream. That's a really beautiful scream. So anyway, everyone, we're going to leave Jeremy's information down below. We know that all of you fell in love with him today. Thank you guys, as always, for watching the show. It means the world to us. You can follow us on Instagram, YouTube. You can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Music. If you want your profile reviewed, go over to our Cameo. We also have a Patreon. And thank you again, Jeremy, for joining us today. This was so much fun. What a pleasure.
Fun.
Yay. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thanks for having me.
Remember to rate this podcast, especially on Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
And if it's not a 5-star, what are we doing?
Write it in your diary.
Thank you guys so much. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh.
Baby.